And I'm back again. Just wanted to make a quick video on how I actually made the cat synth bass kind of sound, and I had to stop myself from recording this video 3 times because I couldn't stop laughing at from where this sound started and to where it got to. It's just insane from where you hear when you hear the original in a few seconds. Yeah, I'll play it now, and just the difference is insane. Had I have no idea how I do this sometimes, but I was laughing for a solid 10 minutes, just cackling to myself. But yeah, so this is what it started with. And if you zoom in really small, like there's only so many parts of the purring. The rest of it's just kind of random silence, but or just like random stuff in the background. But that actually helped because it created texture for whatever else the things that I added to could grab. But if you put all the effects on, it ends up as this. It just, I understand how I got there, but I'm about to explain it. It just made me laugh so much. So here's everything. Just all of this shit. But I understand how all of it works. So here at the top, the treble filter is basically sending that cat sound through 3 different things. Like an EQ, it has a high, mid, and a low. Um, so that's what you hear kind of bounce around at the beginning. I'll turn everything off except for just that. You're just kind of what it does on its own. You can kind of understand what these things do. And thank you again for recording that. It was I'm really gonna flush this song out because I actually think it could. But yeah, once you just hear it with that, so it's just adding rhythm to a bunch of gates, and the preset is just on Crocodile Croc, but whatever whatever your preset is, it just changes the filters, changes the speed, changes the pan, all that stuff. But basically, it just sends the sound through 3 different gates, and then you'll hear the sound come out through those gates in different ways through whatever processing you want to. Down here is a distortion. Distortion's kind of like a guitar pedal, like distortion on that. Putting on um, a Bash Tubes preset, and then I just messed around with all the presets here. Um, these ones just kind of control the parameters or whatever, like how much you want of whatever selected. So resolution, rate at the moment, and then over here you have the body of the kind of box that it's in, just like I said, like a cabinet for a guitar, very similar to a guitar distortion, so you can kind of mess around with things like that similarly. Over here is a pan manipulator, so it just sends the sound left or right, depending on how fast the um, audio coming out of it is. So all 3 of those going on, get this. So that's where the kind of digital kind of voice boxy kind of sound came from the purring instead of the purring. You get kind of like a almost like a robotic kind of tone. Now, if you send that through a bass amp, it just lowers and adds a lot more grit to it, just like a regular bass amp would. So now alone, that sounds kind of cool, but kind of useless. Not too like where would you kind of put that? Like it'd be kind of cool for a video game, like I say, or like a you could use that as an instrument. I could probably play it. Play that? I can't play it, but if I put it in as an instrument, I could play that tone, so that'd be kind of cool. But the real kind of magic comes out with these last kind of effects here. The polar shifter basically takes the whatever sound you have into it and shifts it into 3 different, or sorry, 2 different areas. So you have the one going through the middle like your regular sound, and then you can set it up an octave, down an octave, or shift it in different ways, delay it. All this magical stuff, a lot of stuff to mess around with, but as long as you know what you're doing, you can kind of mess with the semitone, different pitches of everything. That's when you kind of get this sound. So it just brings a lot more of the high and low into the sound rather than having just that one little, kind of video game robotic kind of. The sweeper is a one of three kind of things. You can do phaser, flanger, or filter. Doing a flanger effect, kind of like a guitar again. Reverb down here, thrown into an empty club reverb, and just a little bit of decay, and it's not using the reverb that much. That's what dry and wet means. Dry signal, depending on how far you turn the more dry than wet. And last but not least, where the actual magic comes in is my favorite effect is the A1 trigger gate. You can send the sound through gates just like the alligator up here. So it's actually going through 4 different gates. 3 gates up here for the crocodile croc. And down here it goes through a group preset, but it's actually going through 4 more gates down here. So you actually 7 altogether, but that's just good. So you really have four gates, just 3 up top, and then 1. And that's where they kind of combine and send the sound in different directions with the pan going on at the same time, the shifting of the 2 different octaves going on, and the flanger going on. You get the like robotic kind of walking, kind of breathing kind of sound, and that's where I decided to use it as a synth rather than a bass. So it's kind of like an accent to whatever's going on in the song, and yeah, it worked out really well. I'm gonna finish out this song because I don't know. Immediately I posted it on SoundCloud, and somebody from the techno community that's a producer hit me up from Spinnin' Records. So definitely gonna finish this one. So thank you. And one more time, I'll just play the entire thing. You can hear what it does like without the gate. But once you turn it on, it really adds a lot more rhythm to the song, and matches to the kind of techno vibe of the like cyberpunk other stuff going on. Should explain that like extra robot-y tone you hear, this thing going on, is actually being done over here by another alligator, and sending that like regular tone that you hear, the synth that comes in, pitch that up an octave, and then send it through a synchronous. Like, remember the squirrel effect thing that I made? I remembered that thing and brought it through the same kind of effect. So it's actually being pretty much squirrelized, or whatever that sound was, and then thrown through another alligator. And La Petite Excite adds like an EQ, it's like an automatic EQ. You just like turn up the lows, turn up the highs, just whatever you want. Okay, that's being made just by just these 2 things. But you fuck with it enough. Thank you again.